always wanted to ask my friend Gilbert Rodriguez questions about how he got started playing. We just spent some time with him, and also let him play for us, and maybe someone will be able to enjoy this video as much as I did when I worked on this project.
To kind of be here to fill in the gaps, you know. And so you know, I mean, the thing I love to do most is play music. I mean, that really, that's when I'm at my best. So I'm here right now just to kind of help my dad out. That's basically what it is. So, I mean, I've told this story millions of times. My mom, I was about 6 years old, and we were walking downtown here, and there was a shop owner by the name of Bonnie Langley. And she happened to be standing outside as we walked downtown. And she saw us and she says, "Hey," told my mom, "Would your kids be interested in being in a band?" My mom loved music. Her brother-in-law actually had a big band and practiced over at her house. So she had a great love of music and dancing and stuff. So anyway, there's Bonnie Langley, and she, you know, asked us, "Come to the store, and you know, I'll show you the instruments, you know, and stuff." So, you know, we didn't have a lot of extra money for instruments. So what she did, she just gave us instruments. And literally, I mean, I had no choice. First instrument I had was the flute. She just gave it to me, you know, and so it wasn't new. It was a reconditioned instrument. But so that's where I started. And I took music lessons there from, well, the age of 6, probably for maybe 4 or 5 years. And I participated in the band. And that was my start. Had we not been working? Yeah, we worked together many hours, just listening to records and getting down the essence of the song. You know, she in particular, for some reason, liked the way songs ended. So we worked a lot on how songs ended. You know, just the beautiful flow of music and this fantastic endings that she loved, that that I still use today. I still use that same format. But you know, she had being a mom. I mean, moms love, you know, and she instilled in me that love of music that she had, even though she never played an instrument. She toyed with the piano a little bit, but you know, that was about it. I think she knew chopsticks, you know. So, you know, having her in my life at that time was really instrumental. By myself, I wouldn't have done it. You know, in fact, the second week of lessons, I was ready to quit. You know, I came home, I thought, I'm done. But she talked to the teacher, and the teacher challenged me in a way. And through that, I decided to keep going. I accepted the challenge that she gave me. I think it was to maybe write the lyrics or the words to a song or something, which I did. Yeah, my mom was very instrumental in my early music training. Oftentimes she would either be in the lesson, sometimes she'd sit in my lesson as I was getting it at the music store, or she would be outside and she'd kind of hear what went on, and then she would, when we went home, she would try to expand on that. But one thing she did that was so beneficial for me was she taught me how to play by ear, just by chance. I mean, you know, after the lesson, a lot of times we'd go home and she'd put a record on, and she said, "Hey, play this song," you know. And I don't know how to play it. And she said, "Well, what note is that?" So I played the flute. Well, it sounds like a D. Okay, write D on the paper. So I write D on the paper. So eventually, like for instance, we played Beatles songs and different albums that she had. Eventually, note by note, I learned these songs, and then from there, I began to know where the notes were on the instrument, and I could pick it up by ear. So I mean, it was great training that, and I started so young, so I was like a sponge. You know, you learn so quickly. But my mom, she really infused in me the love of music. You know, to own it. You know, I mean, kind of like an old blues player. You know, it can't come out of you if it's not in you. allowed me to be creative and to be vocal, and I'm quiet and uncreative, with the exception of having this and being able to develop it throughout the years. Whenever if you do something for so many hours, like I have, something's going to happen. So, but it's interesting as you play, inside what's happening. And for me, a couple things that have happened throughout my life consistently. There's like a marching band going like down the street, dun, 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 dun. Sometimes I play it like that, and other times it's just, I can feel inside like it's bursting, as you create something, with the gift that you've been given, you create with your hands and your mind, and everything's going together, and your heart's beating fast, and it's just, music has a way of growing, and as you grow a particular song, especially when it comes to the more climatic part of the song, just inside it's like fireworks, and such a great exhilarating feeling, and I just love playing. I love being able to reach people that way. And sometimes it's hard to talk to people, for me, and this way, hopefully, I can instill some joy, a sense of peace, and through music, through worship, is a great way to do it. And sometimes you can speak to people with your music. It touches their heart. Something, it goes from your heart to their heart. Something that is produced as sound. And they can feel as the song, like I spoke earlier, how the song grows, and it's just consuming them. It's calling them in a different way. Sometimes people don't respond to words. Hey, come and check this out. But through music, they're moved, to another part of their body they didn't even know existed sometimes, they might start tearing up, or they'll think about something, think about somebody they haven't thought of in a long time, so what a great way to communicate and to use your gift to be able to allow somebody to experience that. Many times, I always tell people, because sometimes they'll say, "Oh yeah, great job today," and all that stuff, when they're playing. But I say, "Man, you know what? I'm experiencing what you're experiencing too. I'm getting a lot out of this too. It's in me. It's happening in me too. Well, my wife and I, her name is Christine. And we've been married 36 years. And when I met her, she was 17 and I was 19. So we were pretty young starting out. But we have 3 kids. I have 2 daughters and a son. My son's the oldest. It's Gilbert, and then Monica the middle one, and Denise the youngest. And we have 6 grandkids now. And we have, my son has 4 of them, and my daughter has 2, my daughter Monica. So, and that as much as music is a part of my life, family is more a part of my life, that's the thing that I live for, all the things I ever did that were difficult in my life were made easier because I had a family that, was counting on me to do something, to make something happen. So even though I had a lot of insecurities growing up, and, I wasn't the most vocal person or the most confident, whenever I would come home and I'd see that family, and it's just like an unconditional love they give you, and it gives you the motivation and the desire to just get out and do something. The grandkids are something else too. I'm still trying to get over the fact that I'm a grandpa. It's a tricky thing. I put everything I had into my own kids. And I never thought that, at this point. I'm only 55, but man, I'm pretty sapped. I got to find some of those grandpa genes to really just keep going. So in some ways, I feel like I've just given everything I had to my own kids, and then, and so now I'm learning how to be a better grandpa. So that's been enjoyable. And the kids are just great. Legacy. This is really an interesting subject, and something that that I hadn't really thought too much about, but I know that in my heart I'm trying to create that, my family especially, those are the ones that are closest to me. Legacy is just it's a big word, I mean, just when I heard it, it kind of, it made me think, just stop in my tracks, and what kind of legacy am I leaving? What is my wake, like a boat that's in the ocean or in the lake. It creates that wake, what do you leave behind? And back to love, I mean, that, I love my kids, I want them to know that. I love my wife, I want her to know that. And in turn, to be able to use that, which I've given to them, for their own benefit and for those around them, I think that's the greatest legacy I can leave, I mean, love conquers all. Love, just covers a multitude of sins, there's a lot of things you can say about it. But and also it's a feeling, it's not only an action, but it's a feeling, and if you're motivated by that, you're going to be on the good side most of the time. So I think it's important for my family to know that I love them, and for those that are around them to know that that this is something that's important to them. And I think it'll take them a long way. And if I left nothing else, that I hope that they know that I love them. And that's my legacy to them. And that's my motivation for everything I do for them, with them. And basically the thing that you do, the thing that you give is the thing you want to receive. So, that's two-way street, I'd like a little love too,
Mm-hmm.